Thank you.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us some about how'd you get started off playing? Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from a small town outside of Owensboro, Kentucky, which is considered Western Kentucky, Knoxville. And in that community, it's pretty rich of musicians and bluegrass style music.
Yep.
I'm probably up there about 35, 40 minutes away from Rosine, Kentucky. So as a young teenager and starting to play music, I was able to go out there on Friday nights, and they had a little bluegrass jam, and I was exposed to a lot of great bluegrass musicians in that area. My grandparents raised me. My granddad played guitar,
Good.
So I was
Good.
always around it.
Yep.
And I was very fortunate to grow up in a musical house. My granddad, he didn't play a lot of bluegrass music. He liked older country music.
Yep.
So my first exposure to a flat-picking guitarist was Hank Snow. I mean, he used a flat pick. He didn't play flat-picking fiddle tunes.
Not really known for his guitar playing as much, but
we had this album with Chet Atkins and Hank Snow, and they just played instrumentals, and I would just listen to that thing before I even knew how to play guitar, and I was amazed how Chet Atkins sounded so much different than Hank Snow, and but they complemented each other. It was great. You know, Chet was really smooth and you know, played the finger style, and then Hank Snow, you know, just came in with his, you know, flat picking, and that was my first exposure of listening to guitar instrumental type of music. And so you know, growing up in the bluegrass community, I was just always amazed at how people could play fast, and I just played rhythm, and I always wanted to learn how to, you know, crack the code, and it was really difficult for me. I spent years after I learned how to play chords and playing guitar, at least 5 years before I even could feel comfortable picking. I mean, I would try to play, but it was just hard.
Now, I know your grandfather taught you a little bit. Did you have any formal music training anywhere in your past?
Well, no, he got me with the basics, and then I wanted to progress and learn how to pick. And so there was a local guy named Byron Souders that was a great dobro player, and he also played great guitar, and took lessons from him. He wasn't the greatest teacher, so he was showing me these songs, but the technique was just wrong, and so I was working twice as hard. I was just playing all down notes. I didn't understand what to do. And so when I got ready to go to high school, I moved from Owensboro down to Nashville because my mom had already been living here for a few years. And I went to a high school that had a music course, a guitar class. And it was Hunters Lane High School. And the instructor was Rob Piercy. And Rob Piercy, and I'd met him years before I went to high school there. Phenomenal guitarist, flat picker, and very successful at competitions. And so, man, I was just in heaven. It was just like a playground, you know. And so I had guitar class every day, and because of his love for flat picking, that's what we learned. And we had access to all this great tablature and videos from Doc Watson, Steve Kaufman, Dan Crary. And so I got that exposure in high school, and that just helped me get to where I wanted, and I just soaked it all up. I mean, I just couldn't get enough of it.
Good.
And Rob is a guy that I give most of my credit to, from getting me from, you know, working so hard to being able to actually play these tunes and to, keep up, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, you sound amazing. We'd actually met each other through Tim May.
Yes, which is another
Tim's
guitarist that
brilliant. Yeah, he's been on the show a couple times and has helped us kind of understand flat picking a little bit better. We were needing some flat picking instruction for our upcoming guitar gathering conference. I called Tim, and I said, and he's out of town because summertime's busy time for flat pickers. Y'all are out at festivals and playing all around here and there. And he said, check with Adam.
Oh, bless his heart.
So I'm so glad that we had connected with all of that. Now, tell us about your relationship with Walnut Valley, Winfield, that guitar festival there. You had won that in 2001, the flat picking championship.
That's right. I'd been out there several years before that, and that's just such a great festival. And
what time of year does that happen at?
It's in September. It seems like it's the second or third week of September.
Yeah.
Starts on a Wednesday, ends on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I went out there, I went out with a friend of mine from Owensboro. His name is Wade Butler.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out there in 1992.
Well, that's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. And I was just playing rhythm guitar for him. He was in the competition. And it was really rainy and cold. And I had never made a trip like that before,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was maybe 13, 14 years old. And anyway, that was a long trip for me. So it was a big ordeal to ride out there with
Mm-hmm.
them. And so I remember seeing guitarists like Robin Kessinger,
Yep.
and then Kenny Smith was
Mm-hmm.
competing that year, and I think the guy that won the competition was maybe John Shaw. I think he won. Jason or John. They won back to back, and
Mm-hmm.
I get a little confused. I think it was John that won that year. And anyway, it was great. I really wanted to go back out there and just be a part of that family. It didn't seem like they were competing against you. They seemed like they were all on the same team, basically.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wanted to be on that team. You
know, that's something that has always struck me about the bluegrass world of things, is how much encouragement there is coming from the more experienced players down to the younger players. It is a family, and there's this whole mentorship that happens through the jams and through the festivals and things like that folks are very encouraging to the younger players that are coming up. Not so in other genres, you don't see that. There's a lot of competition that happens sometimes in other genres, but in bluegrass there's this wonderful developing of younger players that is admirable. I've always admired that about bluegrass.
And we feed off of each other when we're sitting down and we're playing, and we develop, licks off of each other, kind of like playing tennis, passing the ball around. And so it's very important. I mean, we need each other.
Yeah.
And that's how I've learned most of my guitar strategies, is from sitting down, not necessarily with somebody that's too advanced for me, or I learn from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the gift of these flat picking tunes, is you can meet a stranger, and we got these protocol songs. You sit down, you play Gold Rush. You say, "Do you know Gold Rush?" "Yeah, I know Gold Rush." I don't even know your name, but I'll remember your guitar.
Yeah, that's how it is.
And so that's one good thing about the flat picking world, is we can just show up to an event, pull out the guitar, and you can just start playing with pretty much anybody. Walk up to a campsite, just with people with instruments, and y'all can just start playing instantly.
Well, let's get to talking about some of your technique, flat picking guitar technique.
All right.
What are some of the key things in flat picking guitar that folks should know?
For me, I think it's shortcuts, and my shortcut is using open strings. And so if I'm down here and I want to get back up here, I'll use my open strings. For an example, if I'm playing Gold Rush, so where I'm using,
Is that open E there? Yeah.
so I use a lot of open strings to kind of help me, little shortcuts.
Yeah.
While I'm hitting that open string here, I'm moving this finger right here.
What's another example of that, do you think?
And also, I'll use this open method. Till everybody's sick of hearing it.
Well, talk us through that really slowly. What
Sure.
are you playing there? That's over an E minor or a G, or what
That's
do you do?
actually a G.
A G,
And
okay.
what's going through my mind is I'm playing licks around chords. So this is
That typical G shape,
this
kind of a
is
D shape,
yeah,
but
D
in G.
shape in the G chord. And so I'm starting on the E string, and I'm coming back to this right here to the F shape of the G chord. And using that open E to save my life.
Yeah.
And to get, from A to B. And I'm alternating my picking too. I'm not doing two downs and splitting it up. I'm down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm starting with the down direction.
Maybe we can get a shot of this, Timothy.
So I'm thinking of going to playing a song that's going from G to C. And it's tough at first, but once you practice it and get it, you can throw it in just about anything. And in a fiddle tune, flat picking, a bluegrass song.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing with the open notes that really helps me a lot. And that's something that I learned from Tim May. I stole that from him.
Yeah.
And you can start from here. There's no rules on it.
Now, so do you have an example that you could maybe use that in a musical setting, in a solo or a song or something like that would use that technique?
B part. Right hand. That was Salt Creek, by the way.
Beautiful, beautiful. A lot of quick hand changes as you're jumping up and down the neck.
I was thinking, what am I going to put that song in right on the spot? But anyway, so that's
Perfect.
one example.
Perfect example of that. Now, you go pretty fast in flat picking. How would a student that's just trying to learn that, how do you build up speed with flat picking?
Well, that was always really tough for me, is being able to play fast. When I was talking about how I started learning how to play, I couldn't keep up with anybody because of my technique.
Yeah.
And the way that I was holding my pick was a little bit challenging too. When I first started playing, I was holding my pick like this. I had my my two fingers and my thumb was
that is kind
down.
of, yeah.
And it was hard for me. Now, there's flat pickers out there that hold their pick like this, and they do just fine, play beautiful, tone is great. I always had trouble with it. It was hard for me to play, and it was always very uncomfortable. So I started noticing flat pickers like Cody Kilby and Carl Miner. They were holding their picks like this, and they might even hold it more in a down fashion. I'm pretty straight on, but I felt like I had more strength with my thumb just being over the top and anchoring, and I felt like I had more strength that way. So I developed a comfort zone right there. I want to feel comfortable if I'm going to be playing the 16th notes back to back.
Now, what kind of talk us through what kind of pick are you using?
This pick right here is a blue chip. I guess it's called the Chris Thiele blue chip.
Okay.
And I used to use the smaller teardrop picks, but anymore lately, the way that I play, I kind of need that more to grab onto. And so it's not the thickest pick you can get, but it's sort of medium. And to me,
this is a CT55 blue chip pick. It's great. I've heard good things about these.
Yeah, it's not too bad if you don't lose them.
There you go. And it's pretty thick. It's really thick. So, but it's got a little angle, little bevel to the picking edge on it. I don't know if we can get a shot of that, but little bevel to the picking edge there. Cool little pick.
And I haven't really gotten into which angle I always use this one because I figure, well, that's just the way that the letters are, so I'm just going to use that. But I like something in the middle of the road that's kind of got a point to it. The round David Grisman picks, I never could use those, even though I get a darker tone. And I can't attack all the notes like
I know
what I need to.
I know Russ Behrenberg recommended one of these Wagon picks.
Oh yeah.
To me.
Yeah. And that
a little bit less of a point than the one that you have. Yours
so
is
and I feel like I can't even hang on to it. We're off to a bad start already with this thing. But I just miss notes, and the way that I hold my pick,
a little less of a point. I
really have a lot sticking out.
Yeah.
And for some people, that might not be a good strategy because they get stuck. But for me, I've sort of developed my own comfort zone with that, and I definitely have a lot sticking out whenever I play, and some people like to only have that much.
Now, I know you also repair guitars and build guitars.
Yeah.
Tell us about the guitar that you're playing today.
Well, this is a guitar that I built. This is one of the first guitars that I built under my name. I learned how to build guitars in the Slingerland drum factory.
Yep.
And then we moved downtown and off of 12th Avenue.
Yep.
And then we moved from there into Opry Mills.
Into the malls, yeah.
So I worked for Gibson from 97 to 2001 building mandolins. I worked with Paul Snyder that built Summit Mandolins. He was one of my supervisors early on. And then Charlie Darrington was around, another mandolin builder, Sim Daly. And so I worked for them for about 4 years, and then quit there and started working with Marty Lanham, who builds beautiful guitars, the Nashville Guitar Company. And that's where I learned how to build guitars without using million-dollar machinery.
Yeah.
And he carves out all of his necks by hand and does a lot of hands-on work, no CNC or anything.
So this is one of your guitars.
And this is one of my guitars. And Adirondack spruce, Honduran mahogany back and sides, mahogany neck, ebony fretboard, ebony bridge. I got the little slanted fingerboard. I always liked the 1800 Martin guitars, and they had those.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I ever build a guitar under my own name, I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that. I think it looks cool, and I don't play up here anyway. So
Now,
what is it?
if folks wanted to learn a little bit more about the guitars that you build or your repair shop, is there a website? How can they get in contact with you?
Right now, I'm in a transition mode, and so I don't have a website up.
Is there an
right
email
now.
address they can contact?
Yeah, they can contact me at wrightpicking at yahoo.com.
With a W.
Yeah, WRIGHTPICKIN at yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com. Okay.
No G on the picking. So.
Well, fantastic. Well, let me. Wow, we've got a couple of questions already. El Rondo is saying, what is the guitar tuned to? That's a regular standard tuning,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yep.
It is.
Nothing fancy about that. Do you play sometimes an alternate tuning?
I do not. I always 440 tune in.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I'll drop the D, but
yeah.
That's as far as I get.
Yeah.
So I play in pretty standard tuning always.
Yeah. Well, good. All right.
Thanks.
Let's give something away, huh? I want to give away. We've got our good friends over at the Fretboard Journal, and they have been such a good friend to all of our all the things that we do. So if you haven't checked out, it's one of the best guitar publications out there. Is the Fretboard Journal. It's great, good glossy pictures. Lots of good articles about building and guitar players, and it's one of the classier magazines out there for guitarists and musicians. Check out Fretboard Journal. Great resource. Somebody's about to win this. The winner of this is Plantsman 13. Plantsman 13, you have just won an issue of the Fretboard Journal. Send me your information at service@mightyoakmusic.com and mailing address, things like that, and we will get this out to you. So Fretboard Journal. And for the rest of you, check them out. They are at fretboardjournal.com. Can't recommend them highly enough. These are good folks over there putting out a great resource. It comes out, I think it comes out maybe 4 times a year, and it's a very good resource. So check it out, fretboardjournal.com. Congratulations, Plants Man. Make sure and email me your information so that I don't have to give that thing away next week. So we do that sometimes too. Sometimes folks don't claim their things that we win. All right. Well, let me talk you through a couple of resources that we've got going on for this month. Last month in May, we had a big special on Rush, and we had some Rush resources. So last live lesson, 2 weeks ago, we learned Tom Sawyer. We learned the parts to that, and I got that right out of these Rush books. So if you're interested, I still have a couple of these left over, so if you're still interested in getting in the Rush books, this is the Deluxe Guitar Tab collection of basically all of their guitar parts in music and written out in tab to every big song that they did. And then this one has play along. There's less video lessons that go along with it. You can slow it down, all kinds of great things to help you learn. Great. So if you're interested in learning all these great tunes, Tom Sawyer, Limelight, Fly By Night, Free Will, all these really cool songs, YYZ, all that stuff is in these 2 resources. Check them out. Our wonderful moderators are going to put those up there. Thank you, Doug. Our wonderful unpaid moderators. Y'all show Doug some love. Doug and Neil, they keep us all honest here with the resources. All right, hey, we've got some great things coming up. We've got our Guitar Gathering 2018 conference that is coming up June 20th through the 22nd, of which, Adam, you're going to be teaching some of the flat picking workshops. And it has started to really come together. Now's the time. So we're at about 2 weeks out, and so it starts getting fun trying to put all these stuff together. We still have room for a few more people. So if you're interested in coming, go to guitargathering2018.com. We've got Phil Kagi, we've got Musicians Hall of Fame guitarist Will McFarlane, and his band, the Blues Council, is going to be performing. Johnny Hyland is going to be there with us. Australian Idol winner Joe Robinson is going to be there. Fingerstyle Winfield champion this year, Christy Linnae, is going to be with us as well. So I will match that lineup next to any lineup for a summer camp going. We have got some really big guys. If you're anywhere in the Nashville area, it's June 20th through the 23rd, and go to guitargathering2018.com. I don't want to get you too excited, but we had a special event scheduled for Saturday morning, and I wanted to do something special. We're going to get we have the first 3 days at the university, and then the Saturday morning was going to be our special event. I've been searching for the perfect thing, and man, did it land this week. We are going to be going to, right on legendary Music Row here in Nashville, we're going to be going to Columbia Studio A and the Quonset Hut, which are two adjacent studios to each other. Actually, now they're in the same building, privately owned by a university now. And these two studios have had so many hits. This is just the small list of some of the songs that have been recorded in these rooms. So on the Saturday morning of conference, we're going to get a private tour of these legendary studios, plus get a chance to perform in these rooms. Let me just read off a couple of the songs that have been recorded in that room. Bob Dylan's Lay Lady Lay was recorded in that room. He did his Blonde on Blonde record in that room. Jingle Bell Rock was recorded there. Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Buddy Holly recorded That'll Be the Day in that room. Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives was recorded there. Ernest Tubb, Flattened Scruggs, the Ballad of Jed Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies was recorded in that room. Just so much history. Hank Williams Jr. was there. Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash and June Carter. Willie Nelson recorded there. Simon and Garfunkel recorded there. It is just Patsy Cline recorded Crazy, and I Fall to Pieces in that room. Wow. So it is going to be, we'll get a private tour from that, and you will be right in the room that all of these famous things were recorded at. It is going to be ridiculous fun. And then people are going to perform there as well. So not something that everybody can just walk in off the street and see. So I was there. He was giving me the tour the other day, and he whipped out, he said, let me show you this. He whipped out a mic, this old-looking mic, and this was the mic that Buddy Holly had recorded all of his songs on. Very cool. Very, very cool. Legendary place here in Nashville. If you're interested in being part of that, we still have some slots open. Check it out, guitargathering2018.com. Coming up June 20th through the 23rd. All right, that is our summer conference. It's big. It's fantastic. Lots of people, lots of artists. It's great. Now, we also do a fall event, the Fall Fingerstyle Guitar Retreat. You can look at fingerstyleretreat.com and get all the information. Now, I just put that website up, I think, a week and a half ago. We only have spots for 20, and over half of those are gone now. So our special guests there are going to be Phil Kagi, legendary fingerstyle guitarist Phil Kagi, and then Trevor Gordon Hall, who Acoustic Guitar Magazine rated as one of the top 30 guitarists under 30 coming up. Brilliant fingerstyle work. If you're interested in a smaller environment, all the meals, all the lodging is included. It's just 20 of us sitting on sofas 10 feet away from Phil Kagi, big stone fireplaces, things like that, in the peak of autumn colors in Tennessee. If you're interested in that kind of event, check out at fingerstyleretreat.com. And let me tell you, this may be the first of our events that sells out. We sold 4 of them today, so 4 of the slots got filled up today. So if you're waiting, I'm going to wait for a little while, I don't know how long it's going to last. So it's turning out to be a magical event. So check it out, fingerstyleretreat.com. Reserve your place if that's something you're interested in. I wanted to create an event where folks could relax. They could be one-on-one and learn from these amazing players and just come and relax a little bit here in the Tennessee autumn. It's going to be a beautiful time of year. Check it out if you're interested. All right, that's enough of me yabbering away. Let's hear you play something else.
All right.
What are you going to play for us? What is this?
This is another flat picking tune that you'll hear from a lot of other guitarists. It's called Caltex Scales.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. All right, just for my own benefit, what was that last lick?
Just the last one?
Yeah, what was that?
That doesn't make any sense. I can't break it down musically.
That's not one of the normal ones.
But it's actually the easiest one. But,
Okay.
got your C right here. The song's in C, F position. Playing open, because I like to cheat. I use a lot of open strings.
All right, do it for one more time. Super slow. Super slow.
So, if somebody was playing rhythm for me, it would be. So that's kind of how it goes over.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Very, very cool lick. Very cool lick. You know, a lot of these bluegrass songs, I wish I played more of it. I don't play as much of it. But Hal Leonard put out this great book. I don't have it. I mean, I've got mine, but we used to have this in the store, the Real Bluegrass book. And if you're interested in learning some of the, Matt Flinner put together these arrangements.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just all of the typical bluegrass songs that you're going to come across as you're sitting around the campfire trying to play some of these jams. If you're interested, check it out. Real Bluegrass book. Hal Leonard puts it out. You can go to halleonard.com, and it's a great resource if you're interested in learning some of these tunes. You know, another great resource that I have found for doing some of that stuff is flatpick.com, which is the guitar, the magazine, Flatpicking Guitar Magazine.
Yeah.
And those great folks over there, which Tim does a lot of stuff with them as well, and Dan Miller, Tim May and Dan Miller, that's their organization. So check that out. If you're great resource, Flatpicking Guitar Magazine. It's at flatpick.com. In each magazine comes with lessons, comes with the tab and how to play it. They've got things in various styles and various skill levels. It's a great resource. Okay, let's get a couple of questions here. Tack Ridge is saying, do you have any ideas on cross picking? First of all, show the folks what cross picking is.
Cross picking? So it's basically absolutely. A lot of people would refer to it like as a banjo roll, or sometimes fiddle players do a bow shuffle that can sort of simulate cross picking, and it's something that whenever I first started playing guitar, learning flat picking, it was already developed and pretty much calculated. And I learned the cross picking, I guess, from maybe the Doc Watson method, or Steve Kaufman is
great with all that. Yeah.
And I know that there's several different ways of doing the cross picking style. I think mine is more common, like Steve Kaufman, which is down, up, down, up.
And it's always 3 adjacent strings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. So I'm just going to use C because it's very easy to...
Timothy, maybe we can get you, maybe you're already on it. Okay.
And how I started was just having that C chord. And
talk us through the downs and ups. I know that's very complex, but talk us through the down, up, down, up.
And I start with the down, the downstroke. Down, down, up, and just alternating.
So it's constantly
it's
alternating.
Hard for me to,
I know
it's hard for me to break it down once you get used to it. But sometimes I only hit like 2 of them.
Yeah.
But I'm starting out by whenever I do a series of cross picking, I'm always going to start out with the 3. And like juggling, you start out juggling 2 balls, and then you go with 3 balls. Some people could do 4 or 5. You can add in an extra note with your cross picking. So,
but the way to start that would be just to get the pattern down.
Yeah, that's what you got to do first. And once again, there's a lot of flat pickers that will do like 2 downs, 1 up type of thing, and
almost like a sweep picking sort of a thing.
And I can't even. I don't know how to do that.
Wow, that would be hard.
Or down and 2. Like down 2, and I can't. It's very hard for me. I know that that's one method is down 2 ups, and you do get a different sound. You know, if you split up the pick direction, you get a different sound.
Yeah.
But for me to have it more graceful, I like to do the alternating down up down up down up down up.
It is a technique that you just have to sit in your practice room and go stupid slow until you get the pattern of it. And it is not a natural, when you're learning it, it doesn't come naturally. It kind of goes counterintuitive. But once you get to a certain speed with it, then you kind of get this wonderful figure 8 sort of a thing happening with it, and it all works a little bit easier. But I know at the beginning there's an awful lot of just kind of real slow picking. It's an 8 note pattern. So, and you're jumping over these 3 strings, And so just go back and watch the video, and you can get an idea of how that works. I know when we had Molly Tuttle here, Molly did a great explanation of cross picking as well. So in her time that she was with us a couple months ago. So
it's at and you're skipping over that one string.
And you're skipping the one string.
So that makes it tricky, and you can. So to start off, you would to get sort of comfortable with everything, you would go. And then the more common is skipping the G string. More of a forward. Even
roll.
though I am alternating my picking, it's more of like a forward roll or forward cross picking is more to me. I would say a common cross picking style. And I know it's easier said than done, but you can just start off by, down, up, down, up. And then you can start to manipulate it a little bit and do like the forward, which is a little bit more tricky because you got to skip over that one string.
Skip over the string. Sorry to get so technical there for a little bit, but it is an important technique in the flat picking world. ED2956 is saying, Adam, how do you come up with all those ideas for variations, I guess, as you're doing these flat picking things?
I'm very fortunate to live in Nashville and have so many resources, so many great guitar players to get to listen to and pick and steal their ideas. And I guess variations, it's kind of like how we, make our mixtapes back in the day, or mix CDs where we like our favorite songs and we put them on a CD and we can listen to them. I sort of do that with licks. I use my favorite licks and make like a mixed tape in a song. And whenever I prepare for a guitar competition, everything is totally pre-planned out. These tunes that I played today, I have sat down and I have worked and mapped out what I'm going to play here, coming up with an intro, and my first half I'm going to do this, my second, I really sit down and calculate what I'm going to be doing in those songs.
Is any of that written out?
No. Unfortunately, that's a side that I don't enjoy about music. Is that like you can sit down, tab it, and all that stuff. It's something that I hadn't been able to do at all.
Yeah.
So I don't have any of that written out in tablature. I should, so I could share it. Because I'm a visual person, so trying to talk about it and discuss it just makes more sense if it's written down, mapped out.
Yeah. All right. Our Mark Colder, are your flat picking courses at the Guitar Gathering going to be beginning flat picking, or should we practice it up first?
Oh no! We're going to be relaxed, and from my experience of doing little workshops, it's just everybody brings their talents in different ways to these things, and so the main thing is to get people to give them tools to take home with them so they can pull their guitars out and and try to practice more. Like me, I mean, I've got a professional job that I have to do that doesn't involve guitar playing, so it is tough. And I put myself in most of these people's shoes. They don't have the opportunity to get to sit behind a guitar 4 hours a day or even 2 hours a day. But if you can pick up the guitar and have a goal, and that's with the flat picking, it's a little bit easier because you've got tunes. For me, I had goals. I had tunes that I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And so it made it the direction was a little bit easier than just pick up a guitar and like, what am I doing? And I'm sitting in front of a TV and it just kind of gets lost,
Yeah. Just out of curiosity for the folks out there, what is your normal day job?
Well,
what do you do when you're not playing guitar?
Yeah, so I play guitar, I build, I repair, and also work in radiology doing CT scans.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, I'll get to slip an instrument in there and scan. No, I don't get to scan instruments. I wish I could, but anyway. So yeah, I'm always around people. I love being around people and working with them, and I enjoy, definitely the music part about being around people.
Well, before we go, those of you who are coming to the conference, we will do we'll pick a couple of tunes, and I'll try and make sure they're in there, and we'll try and I'll put them up so folks can download them. Y'all can start to practice them, so you have something to go with. Hey, let's give away one more thing, just while we're taking a breath here. I wanted to give away a hat, a great Gruhn guitar hat. I love this hat, so I just grabbed a new one off the thing. The winner of this is Watson 43. Watson 43, you have just won a Gruhn Guitars hat. Send me your information at service@mightyoakmusic.com, and we will send that out to you. Let's do a couple more questions, and then we've got to move on and get out of here. We'll have you play something else for us. Watson 43 is saying, how many hours a day do you practice?
Woo! Not enough. A lot of times I'll get up in the morning and have the coffee brewing, and I'll pick up the guitar and try to just see what I can do cold. Yeah. And I'll play my competition tunes, my fiddle tunes, and that I'll put in about 15 minutes there. Mm-hmm. And then after I finish out my full day of either working at the hospital or down in my shop doing repairs, at night I'll probably get to do another 15 minutes, mm-hmm. So it's only about 30 minutes that I get to put in,
But when you're preparing for because you did the competition, you won it in 2001, and then I saw you got third somewhere along the way here, and then you got third again in 2017.
Yep, that's right.
So it's just last year.
Right. Yep, just last year.
You were competition ready with all this stuff.
Very blessed. Yeah, oh yeah. And so that's definitely still going to the guitar contest, and I'll get lucky, get in the top 5, get even super lucky and bring home a guitar. And so anyway, and here in a few weeks, I'm going to be going out to the Wayne Henderson Festival, mm-hmm. and that's a stiff one to a lot of great competition out there. And
what are some of if in that flat picking bluegrass world? What are some of the big competitions? Of course,
Winfield's
a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. There's one in Colorado, Rocky Grass. Mm-hmm. That's a big one. There's one in South Carolina called the Reno Fest, mm-hmm. and they give away a guitar that's built by Wayne Henderson, Gerald Anderson, and Strickland Guitars. And those three put together one guitar, which is pretty cool. And then let's see, there's a lot of great contests that goes in this tri-state area here: mm-hmm. Kentucky, Tennessee, mm-hmm. Georgia. Yep. A lot of state competitions, and that usually kicks in from when the weather's decent. Usually May all the way into October.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, let's. Before we have you play one more thing, do you have any, like for a person who's just starting to get, starting to learn some flat picking? Of course, the scales are so much a part of it, mm-hmm. and the typical scales that y'all work out are what, C and G, keys of D and A,
Yeah.
perhaps?
Yeah. Key of G is definitely a dominant flat picking key to be in. Once you learn a song like Gold Rush and Salt Creek, then you can things start making sense to play like Red Hair Boy and Cherokee Shuffle and other songs that are in the key of G. So my recommendation is for learning the flat picking style is a song like Gold Rush. And then once you learn Gold Rush, then you have to learn a couple more songs in the key of G. And then you're almost on your way to where you can sit down and somebody names a tune that you hadn't really spent a lot of time with. You've heard it, but you hadn't spent a lot of time. You can sort of get away with playing some of the same licks from Gold Rush or Salt Creek into those other songs, and you start to be able to come out of your shell and incorporate, what you've learned from, those other songs, and it starts to make sense.
Yeah. That's so much a part of it is being able to conquer your fears
Yeah.
and your insecurities there as you're just learning to be able to start meeting with people, start getting in jams, sitting at the back, and start your journey of learning, which we all do. Mark Holder is asking, what sort of strings do you like to use for flat picking? What kind of strings do you have on that guitar?
I'm using the Diodario, medium gauge strings, phosphor bronze, and those are kind of my go-to strings. And
medium gauge, though.
Medium
so
gauge.
Those are on the thicker end of things.
Yeah. I like medium gauge strings. I don't play as hard as other people, but I do attack it at times, and I feel that lighter gauge strings are just a little bit slinky, and I seem to bottom out, and it buzzes a little bit more. So I like the medium gauge strings, and the way that I got my guitar set up pretty low, so even though I'm using medium gauge strings, it still feels pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I always use medium gauge strings.
Yeah. Well, good. All right, let's give away one more thing. This is a cool one. Gruhn's just got these water bottles. Cool metal water bottle. The winner of this is Jerome Herbert. Jerome Herbert, you have just won a very cool Gruhn's water bottle. Send me your information, Jerome, at service@mightyoakmusic.com, and we will get this out to you. So the winners tonight were Plantsman 13, Watson 43, Jerome Herbert. All right. Adam, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I look forward to getting to know you better at our conference. Thank you so much for giving up a little bit of your time to pour into our learners there. If you're interested in learning from Adam and checking out our guitar conference, check it out at Guitar Gathering 2018, coming up in a couple weeks, but we still have room. If you're worried about hotels, you can still get in at Trevecca. We still have a few slots open to actually get the dorms at Trevecca. So it's nothing fancy, but you're, 50 yards from walking in the door, and it's cheap. So check those out. If you need to get in contact with Adam, you can contact it at wrightpicking@yahoo.com.
That's it.
All right. And he'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about flat picking guitar, guitar building as well. So we will have a live lesson next week. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and click over on that button there that you're watching our broadcast on, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put new stuff up there. Of course, all the live lessons are there, but we do other little tips and things along the way. And so it's a good resource for us. If you're looking for a good home for a guitar, check out guitargathering.com, which will get you to our discussion board. And just good learners, just like yourself, trying to learn how to play this funky instrument. And they're all encouraging from all walks of life and everybody, and it's just a blast. You can get on someplace, talk to some guy across the ocean who's just trying to learn how to play guitar just like you are. So check that out. It is always a blessing there. So, all right, that's enough of me yabbering on. We've given everything we're going to give away. What are you going to play for us to close us out?
All right. This is another flat picking tune called the Dixie Hoedown.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Hey, keep up the great work in your learning, and we will see you guys next time.